Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the annual Family Cafe. Please welcome our next presenter, Bob Streeter.
Right. Good evening. How's everybody doing here at the Family Cafe? Raise your hand if you're having a good time. All right. You know, I'm going to be talking about a subject today, as you already know. There's a big conversation about race and disability. We all know about that. But to start, about show of hands, how many of you ever felt that you were in a situation where you were like boxed in? People didn't even understand anything about you or didn't have any knowledge about what you was about. They just put a label on you. How many of y'all been labeled before? I've been labeled before Heinz ketchup. Nobody's laughing but me. But the thing is that we have to find out that each and every one of us are precious. Each and every one of us is here today to do great things to serve one another. It's a story real quick about some scientists. Anybody botanists or scientists or anyone that has interest in that area, raise your hand. They did a scientific study about ants. And what they did was they took a red ant, a black ant, and a brown ant, and they put them inside a jar. And they found out something very, very interesting, that these ants were literally working in harmony with one another. So the scientists said, wow, this is amazing. It's not about the colors of the ant, it's just something innately that each of these ants were able to collaborate with one another. In the ant, they have their own system. You have the queen ant, and then you have the drone ants, and all of them got their own specific duties. But they were fascinated to find out that these ants literally were in concert with one another. So, this is what they did in the experience. They said, we're going to shake up the jar, and we're going to turn the jar over and see what happened. Repeat after me. Shake it up. Get the person to shake it up. Shake it up. So what they did, I like the lady in the back. She's doing like this. I swear, shake it up. Hey. Anyway, they took this jar of ants. These ants were multicolored. And what they did was they shook up the jar. And they dropped all the ants on the table. And something fascinating happened at that point. Don't you know that each of those ants started to fight one another? They couldn't get along. They were literally dueling it out. And the caveat and story behind that is sometimes in life, sometimes in situations, we are too busy at war with one another instead of looking at who was the one that shook up the jar. What shakes up the jar? Negative thoughts. What shakes up the jar? I'm a different color than you. What shakes up the jar? Cultural differences. That was a scientific study on that. And they were amazed that all the attention of those ants were on one another instead of who shook up the jar. So as we talk about race, inclusion, who am I? Who are you? All of these questions that people address to you, the fundamental truth is that We all are in this together, and we cannot afford to colorize a person. We cannot afford to label a person, but we got to be able to be a united force, one voice, speaking together, believing, achieving, and moving to a higher heights, no matter what color you may be. We all got a hidden agenda, and that agenda is to get along with one another. And if you believe it, give it a big hand clap. You know, I have balls. They're going to edit that out. What do you see here? You see a bowl of balls. We talk about race and disability and the difference between one another. Inside of this bowl, you see a cornucopia of humanity, which represents us. Each of these balls, one way or another, some look the same, right? They're family. They may be your culture, what you believe, or so, or even your siblings. You believe, okay? They are alike. And you have others that are all in different array of colors. But at the end of the day, you want to use this as a symbol that we can all, even though things in life is shaking you up. How many of you have gone through disappointments? Raise your hand. How many of you have gone through struggles? It should be everybody in this room. If you have gone through at this taping, if you have gone through 2020 and you are standing here with a smile on your face, you'll be able to look at somebody. You are a champion. Give yourself a big hand. If it's no more, then you ain't got past 2020. So everybody said, well, what does this talk got to do about race and exclusion and all of this that's going on? There's a word called social construct. Social construct is basically how you was raised, what you believe in. You have a firm understanding on a certain subject, and you ain't budging one bit unless you open up your mind, open up your consciousness, and say, I'm going to learn something new about this person that I may not understand. You know, in life, things will happen to you, and it's just like, are they in a reality show up in heaven watching me? Because this is not funny, and nobody laughing but me. I'm going through all of this. Why was I, quote, born with a certain disability? Why does that happen to me? And I say to you, and you can look at somebody square in the eye, say, look, just like the snowflakes, and when they put it in a microscope, every snowflake is unique. Every snowflake has their own differences, their own definition. And when they collectively get together, I know this is hard because you're in Florida and you don't know what snow is. But anyway, every snowflake is unique. And when you come to the consciousness, race is just a sidebar. That's not even the issue. Sometimes people use race, inclusion, all of these acronyms just to be a smoke screen because they don't understand you. And when you be you, one person can change your community. One mother struggling, going to the doctor, getting medicine for their child, crying throughout the night, don't know how things going to end meet. And it takes one person in a community to say, you know what? I see you. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend one day just to walk in your shoes. Now, if you see a hole in my sock, I got holy socks, okay? A lot of people, we're going to talk about race, but I'm setting the foundation. A lot of people use labels. They use their own ambiguities. They use whatever they can without really understanding who you are and the value of who you are. Now, this presentation can be very strange and dangerous to some people because they ain't used to somebody say, hey, there's greatness inside of you. Hey, you are unique. Hey, you are an overcomer. Hey, you are a champion. And when you start to talk that talk, people are going like, are you for real? I say, I am for real. I believe in the greatness that you have. I believe that when you overcome whatever obstacle you may have, your story is going to galvanize so many people that they're going to come to you again and again. Tell me, I've been watching you. I'm a different hue than you. But there's something unique about you. And just like that illustration of that snow falling from the clouds, accumulating on the ground, children playing in it. I'm painting a picture for everybody that lives in Florida. Children playing in the snow, making snow angels, having fun. Why? Because that one unique snow combined the same uniqueness with the other snow, and they compiled together and fell on the ground. We are here at the Family Cafe to be united, not divided. You talk about exclusion, we talking about race, we talking about all these differences. But at the end of the day, all brains are gray. You ever thought about that? All brains are gray. And as I talk to you, I wanted you to know with a heartfelt compassion, with a heartfelt plea, to look yourself. When I was in middle school, I had a teacher. And she said, this is your homework assignment, all the kids. How many of you got children that's in middle school or so, and the teacher gives an assignment? We're talking pre-COVID, okay? We're not talking COVID, where everybody's at home and it's driving you crazy. But we're talking about pre-COVID. And the teacher would say to the middle schoolers, this is your assignment. I want you to write on an index card, take a look at a tremendous person. And for middle school, that word tremendous was like, wow. So the teacher wrote on the board, take a look at a tremendous person. So all the kids, and the teacher said, take your index cards. You see what I see on the board. I want you to write that exactly. Do we have any teachers in the audience? You know. So the kids wrote, take a look at a tremendous person. So the teacher said, after you wrote that on the card, I want all of you, before we dismiss for the day, the last bell has been rung, I want you to hold up your cards. And all the kids in the classroom with big smiles on their face, they're saying, this is a great homework assignment. The teachers already gave us the answer. So they went home. Before they went home, the teacher said, okay, you did great. You wrote what I told you to write on the board. Now, this is your assignment tonight. And I want you to share this with your parents. I want you to take that index card at your favorite mirror. And when you wake up in the morning, pace it on your mirror. And when you start to give that affirmation, take a look at a tremendous person. When you look in that mirror, that's a reflection back to you. What we need to do now, we need to get that personal postcard, that personal index card. You write down your dreams. You write down your aspirations for your child. You write down what you want to do in your life. I'm going to get you on your feet one way or another. Anyway, you take that index card and you write down that affirmation for your child. Guess what? When you start to believe in what you have written, you'd be surprised of the results. So when people start talking about race and inclusion, any of y'all seen that Charlie Brown cartoon with the guy with the cloud? Any of y'all seen that? I'm dating myself. There used to be what they call a cartoon. It used to be in a thing called newspaper. And they will put a cartoon section in the newspaper, and then they had TV, and Charlie Brown had a series, and they had this one kid that had a cloud. And the kid with the cloud, every time you see him coming, it was like, was it, 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 was it. And Charlie Brown and Snoopy and all the gang trying to cheer him up. Was it, was it, was it, was it, was it, was it. How many of y'all know negative people? Raise your hand if you know negative people. Now, if they're sitting beside you, we're not going to have a fight in here, okay? There's going to always be people that go, well, you ain't this because I'm, quote, whole, and you're not whole. So that means that you can't be my BFF. I'm going to have to unfriend you. You got people like that. And in turn, we talk about race and inclusion. In turn, you start looking at yourself and going, what? What is going on? Maybe they're right. Maybe I am the one that has all the problems and you're okay. And then what you start to do, you start from a person that believe just like the unique snowflake to the person in that cartoon. You start to believe in that your imperfections have hold you back, that what people are saying and tell you what you cannot do. We have to be able to say, I'm better than that. You know, oftentimes, it's a very sensitive subject. You know, I'm pecan brown. Yeah, I got that nice skin from my mother. I'm pecan brown, okay? You're lighter than me. And the thing is that when you really think about it, is it really color or a person's race is the issue? We talk about social construct. There are some people that are going to believe certain things to the day they die. Some will, some won't. So what? Repeat after me. Some will, some what? So what? You know? And to overcome this subject, when you talk about race, inclusion, we have to really examine, just like those scientists that took those ants. They saw that these ants were in harmony, and then they started to shake it up. Shake it up. When people start talking negative about you, guess what they're doing? They're shaking it up. They're shaking it up. So what you have to do right now is to say, look, what you say about me is none of my business. It really is not. Because you know what? No matter what your faith may be, no matter what other person may be, But I believe I was created in a better image than you because you're looking ugly and I'm not ugly. Come on, somebody. I'm from Virginia. I'm going to break it down. Let me say that again. I love your smile. Let me say that again. Some people, their job is to drink haterade in the morning. I don't care what you do. If the sky is beautiful, the sun is a ray, you're feeling the brilliance of the sun on your face. And they will come up to you and say, what are you doing in the shade? What? You know, it says laughter is good medicine. When was the last time you had a good laugh? Be for real. When was the last time you really had a belly aching, snot through the nose? I'm sorry, they're going to edit that out. But anyway, you're just rolling. It's so funny. It's so funny, despite how your day has gone. And that one thing happens, and you just start to laugh. Scientists said when you start to have laughter, there's a chemical, good chemical imbalance starts to happen in the biochemistry of your body. When you start to laugh for that minute second in time and in this space, you start to chuckle about something. It may be an inside joke. You're not laughing at somebody else. It's just one of those things to say, look, before I put my head to the pillow at night, you at this palatial hotel, before you end your night tonight, before you put your head down on the pillow, I want you to find something funny to laugh about. I want you to be able to say, oh, I feel so good. Can y'all do that? Can y'all do that? You know, that's what it's all about. We're playing this game too hard. It says iron sharpens iron. I want you, when we talk about race, this is where I'm going to get you right now. I want you to assemble your team that doesn't look like you. Woo! I got to sit down and marinate on what I just said at that. I want you to build a team that doesn't look like you. And when you do that, it broadens your horizon because you are forced to get out your own social construct. You are forced to adopt and learn about another culture. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. You know, it's just like if you ever had a coloring book, they don't use one color when they have a coloring book, right? Crayola will go out of business if y'all only use black and white crayon. Come on, be for real, somebody. The crayon box is designed for diversity, inclusion. You can't finish your picture with just two colors. Oh, my stars. This is some good stuff. I got to get this tape. You cannot paint the picture of your legacy, of generational talent, unless you use other colors in the crayon box. Illustration. A woman, child, with a challenge. How many of you, if your mother or father, love your children? I'm a father of twins. Hey, somebody said, oh my God. Try having twins at 40, sister. No, well, actually, my wife had at 40. I was just holding her hand, and when they brought that epidermal out, I was just like, whoa, I love you, dear. You are a wonderful woman. And the twins now are 22. Our oldest son is 27. And it all started, let me tell you about the crayon box and my oldest daughter in her 30s. I look good for 62, right? Yeah. God didn't waste no clay. Getting back to the point. I just shared with you my immediate family, my children. I never said, when Robert Edward Streeter IV, my oldest son with ADHD and ODD, said, oh my God, what the neighbor's gonna think. Oh, no. I counted, my wife and I counted it as a gift that keeps on giving. The hardships, the struggles, the emotional roller coasters, getting the right medication. I didn't hear no color in that. Did I say anybody race? When I just explained to you about a struggle, I just explained about you getting the right medicine. I just explained to you that sometimes you got to stay up late at night with your child. Am I talking about race? So who's blowing the smoke? And you cannot allow yourself to be captivated by somebody else's linguistics because they don't understand you. They don't understand you. Oh boy. And this woman who had this daughter called and assembled her friends, her crayon box, and said, look, I love my daughter, but I can't do this alone. I don't see your color. I see your humanity. This is the vision I have because of my love for my daughter. So, they sitting around the table. She's saying, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get together and we're going to talk to A. We're going to talk to B. Sometimes you got to have, you know, alphabets as part of your success. You got to know the A, who's B, who's C, who's D, all the way down to Z. And then you have to strategically bring in that crayon box, bring in those alphabets and say, this is the plan. And I can imagine her saying, probably with tears in her eyes, you know, you guys, I love you because you chose, not of your own volition, not of your own motives, but you chose to walk in my shoes. I can't tell you how long the journey is going to be. But you said that you would have the desire to walk in my shoes. And you know what? It's not about race and inclusion and who fits in and who doesn't fit in. At the end of the day, who is willing to walk in your shoes? I say the person that walks in my shoes, very good shoe, $130 leather, you know. You know. And this woman gathered the friends that had made a silent agreement to not to live in quiet desperation, but to be able to walk in her shoes for a little while. And these group of people that we call the crayon box, the alphabets, got together and say, girl, I'm with you, ride or die, as the young people say. And let me tell you something. You are here. Remember when I talked about the snowflakes? Remember when I talked about that? They look the same, or some of them look the same on the outside, but when you put the microscope, all of them are unique. What happened was that that one group made a selective choice to collaborate together, to walk the battle together. See, I have my military hat. I served in Europe and Washington, D.C., and one thing they tell you in the military, you are not tested until you battle tested. So if you have gone through challenges, if you've gone through disappointments, if you've gone through negativity, if you've gone through people saying, why she give all this attention to her child? You look that person in the eye and say, I've been battle tested. Nobody's going to stop me. I'm going to a whole new level. You don't know this, but I'm going to keep a smile on my face, a pep in my walk, and I'm not going to stop until I get to the point where I feel that have already won. Yeah. You know what? We beat ourselves up too much. We talk about race and inclusion and all that, but at the end of the day, you don't need to box with yourself. You don't need, girl, get yourself some nice makeup on, some lipstick, some earrings, dress your child up, look good, hold your head up, walk out the house. You say, I may not have $1 million, but I look like $1 million. Come on now. Because most of the people, they see your struggle, and then they want to say, oh, I'm so sorry that you're going through. Oh, you're going through that. You know, got more drama than Playhouse 90. You know? So you got to break away. And that lady, she broke away from mediocrity. That lady broke away from the sounding board of negative people that say, well, you need to leave things as it is. Don't ruffle anything up. You know, you should just be glad that your child is alive and everything will fall in place. And that lady, she did this. She dropped the balls and said, no more negativity. No more giving up. Come on, crew. We're going to pick this up. And what's right here? Oh, we're going to pick up hope. We're going to pick up tenacity. We're going to pick up compassion. We're going to pick up that I can make it. We're going to pick up strength. Oh, we're going to pick up. Oh, we're going to pick up. We're going to pick up. We're going to pick up. We're going to change the game. We're going to pick up commitment. We're going to pick up finances. We're going to pick up a strategic. We're going to pick it up. And gently put it back in the bowl. But nobody knows the struggle that you had to do. What did I just do? I dropped it, and what did I do? I started to pick it up, and I gently present it. You may not know the struggle, but we are here today by a lady named Lori Fahey. Give her a big hand. That's her story. When they were at the table, Gerald, we don't want people that don't look like us. And sometimes you get some people that are left behind. They can't catch on to the vision, but that's okay. She said, we're going to move forward. And can't you see, over 2 decades of loving tenacity. Look at the person next to you and say, I have loving tenacity. I know you're sitting by yourself, so I say it to you. I have loving tenacity. Say it back to me. All right. And give yourself a big hand. Yeah. And listen to me. Let not us leave this place without the clarity call that, number one, I am valuable. Number two, I am appreciative. Number three, I am honorable. Number four, I'm a champion. And number 5, you can't win because I believe that a better day is coming. Yeah. Thank you. See? That's right. She's part of the crayon blocks. Pick it up. And if you look at it, that's what she did. She picked it up, put it in order, and then what happened? It's like you plant a seed. Every farmer that plants a seed, he knows the name of the seed. You are here at Family Cafe not because you're black, not because you're white, not because you're Hispanic, not because you're Asian American, not because you're pecan brown, pretty skin, but you are here to display the greatest gift that you can give to another person, and that's loving tenacity. When you have loving tenacity, it's not a black thing, it's not a white thing, it's not a red thing, it's a humanity thing. And you know what? You'll be surprised that all those very people have said things. Don't worry, my angels are calling me right now. People have said, well, I don't think you should do this because you are different than me. But you know, it's a story of a man who had a mule. And he said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to enter that mule into the Kentucky Derby. And some people started laughing like, you're going to enter your mule into the Kentucky Derby. Don't you know all of the elite, prestige horses that have been groomed since birth, have eaten the best, have been trained to race, and you're going to enter your mule? And the man looked at him. He said, yeah, my mule may not win, but the association is real good. So, let me get this real straight. Let me just tickle your brain a little bit here. It's easy to talk about race. That's the easy way out. But when you start to talk about humanity, that everyone is gifted. If you Google personalities that have overcome obstacles, some may not see. It reminds me of a story that a man that was blind and he had a sign and people used to pass him with that sign. You know what that sign said? Today is a beautiful day. I wish I could see it. If you could see today, if you can even reach out to someone and said, hey, I don't know you, but let us just sit down and kind of know one another. You know, I hate Zoom. Why? Don't you get tired of talking in your pajamas and this part is all looking good and you got pajamas on? Ain't nobody laughing but me. That's the same thing in life. Some people look good from the top up. But when you start to examine from the bottom up, they got indeficiencies. They got shortcomings. And the only thing sometimes we get caught up in is the top up. So what I'm telling you, when we talk about exclusion, we talk about race, what to do, how to do, handle the situation, it all comes down to your dignity. I don't know you. I may have seen you in passing, but if I have the core to respect you, I'm going to listen to you. We have seen a lot go on in our nation. We talk about the disability community. When you talk about violence in the streets, when you talk about discord between the races. But I believe this, when you start to look at the humanity of an individual, despite what you think is a disability, and my definition of a disability is an ability that you have not recognized, you have not valued yet. And when you start to look at the core humanity of an individual, that's when you start to become a catalyst for change. It's easy to talk about the negative things that we are faced in life. It's easy to say, well, I ain't going to listen to him because he's black and he's pecan skinned. It looks so good, but I'm not going to listen to him. It's easy. That's a way out. But if you're able to look at the humanity in an individual, it says, well, you know, I'm different. Yes, sometimes people can have disabilities that you cannot see. But guess what? We all have to learn to be in concert, in harmony with one another. The sweetest note of a song is between the notes. You hear a song, but if anybody is musically inclined, they know that the sweet spot of a song is between the notes. You are in between the notes in a situation that you may be going through. It's tough. Let's not get it twisted. It's not easy. It's not easy when you have neighbors to say, well, I thought you have a normal life. What is normal? Tell me what is normal, then I can be able to understand what you're saying. But you know what? We got to go to a whole new level. We talk about race, inclusion. We talk about all of that, but guess what? We all are in the same jar. And there's two things we can do. We can remain in harmony with one another. Sometimes we can disagree, but not be disagreeable. And that's part of the puzzle, to start to put things together. It's like a father that had a 6-year-old, and he was watching his favorite sports team on TV. And he wanted to get the child to do a little busy work because he wanted to focus on the game. I know about disappointment watching sports because I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, but that's another story. But anyway, he said, I want to deter that child just a moment so I can finish watching the game. So he looked on his coffee table and said, I know. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this picture of the world and I'm going to tear it up in 5 pieces. Now, this is a small child. He didn't do it in these small pieces. Those of you that do puzzles, you are a genius. I don't have the patience. He said, I'm going to take this picture of the world and I'm going to just put it in little sections and I'm going to tell the child to put it together again. So he put it down on the table in different pieces and he said, look, this is what I want you to do. I wanted you to take these pieces of paper and I want you, see this picture of the world that's on this box, I want you to put it back together. So he rubbed his hands and said, oh yeah, I know I got another 30 minutes to watch this game. And don't you know, within 2 minutes, the child came back. Daddy, Daddy, I got it. And the dad was amazed, like, what? 2 minutes? That's amazing. I asked you to take the picture of the earth that I tore in small pieces, and you put it together that quick? And the child said, it was easy, Daddy. And the dad said, well, tell me why it was so easy. The child said, well, Daddy, there was a picture of a man on the other side. And once I put the man together, the world came together. Woo! 1995 for this. So when you put you, the man, the woman, the child together, race is not an issue. Inclusion is not an issue. Because you are first able to put the essence of life together. And that's being a servant of humanity. And you know, the world starts to change. Each of you are a game changer because one woman had the loving tenacity, the audacity to hope and to believe and to dream that if I can make a better, put that picture of the world together, if I can take the pieces of my daughter's face and put it together and flip it over, and on the other side is the world, it'll be a better place. It's done. Why are you here? I'm going to get Virginia on y'all. Why are y'all here? Because someone had the vision over 10 years ago for you to be sitting in your seats, activating, making change in your community, knowing that your child is unique and special, knowing in spite of the negativity that goes on, that you believe in your child, you'll do whatever you need to do to make it happen. And no matter what the consequence may be, you already got sweatless victory. Oh, it's quiet up in here. I told you it was dangerous what I'm talking about now. I can give you 50 million statistics. I went to George Mason University in Virginia. I'm still almost there. I'm paying off my college loan. Anyway, got a master's degree. But do not get paralysis of analysis. Don't get caught up in the fanfare of they say I'm like this, so I can't be like this. But you pick yourself up, brush yourself up, you put your shoes on, whatever your shoe may be, you tie them up, you make sure that you're ready, you tie these shoes up, whatever it may be. No more tears, no more negativity. You straighten yourself up. You read your affirmations. There's greatness inside of me. I am somebody special. You look in your mirror. Try this tonight before you go to sleep. This is going to blow your mind. Look in your mirror. Straighten your favorite mirror. It may be here in a hotel in the bathroom. Try this. I want you to look straight at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And I guarantee you'll start smiling. Why? Because there's a connection point inside of you that's urging to come out and say, I'm ready. Watch out, world. Here I come. A journey of 1,000 miles is one step at a time. And when you put on the right equipment of positivity, when you put on your clothes that I ain't gonna give up, and you take each step and you become your own personal advocate. So when they talk about race and occlusion. You're on a whole different consciousness and going to a whole different level. Now that I've set the foundation about what I was really going to talk about, I'm going to open up the floor for questions, because that's how we learn from one another. And somebody can be a timekeeper, because I don't want to go over the time, but I just want to say to each of you, if I could come up to you. I know we have social distance. I'm a hugger by nature, but I want to be able, before this conference over, to be able to come up and look at you and say, there's greatness inside of you. 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 Lady in the purple, there's greatness inside of you. Your friend beside you, there's greatness inside of you. Lady in the pink, there's greatness inside of you. Lady with that loving baby in your arms, there's greatness inside of you. Oh, you two right there, beautiful couple, there's greatness inside of you. Back there in the seat, I see you. There's greatness inside of you. There's greatness inside of you. There's greatness inside of you. Lady in the back, nodding your head like you're in church. There's greatness inside of you. There's greatness inside of you. There's greatness inside of you. Young lady, don't fear. There's greatness inside of you. Young man right there, there's greatness inside of you. Young man with that cool hat, you are so cool, man. There's greatness inside of you. There's greatness inside of you. Young man right there, there's greatness inside of you. There's greatness inside of you. Oh, that's greatness inside of you. There's greatness inside of you. You, there's greatness inside of you. You, there's greatness inside of you. I'm looking you in the eye and saying, there's greatness inside of you. There's greatness inside of you. There's greatness inside of you. You way over there in the country, there's greatness inside of you. There's greatness inside of you. Let's come together. Let's collaborate together. Let's do this. Last point. Last point. And I want you to hear me. And I don't want to be demonstrative when I say this. But you need to know. If you ever seen light, and we have the light here for the cameras, we have the natural light here in the hotel. It's great. It's serving its purpose. But when you put together collective light, don't be a dimmer switch, but you be a bright light. And just like there's greatness inside of you, there's brilliance inside of you. Color don't make a difference. A disability don't make a difference. People trying to divide you don't make a difference. Long as you know that you are a light, you are a light, you are the light. Now I'm going to break it down and bring it home, and y'all going to get on your feet after you hear this. If each of us are a light, when you have a collection of light together, it forms a laser, and laser cuts through brick. So if each of us collectively join together as a light, we come a laser of hope. We come a laser of strength. We come a laser of being together. We come a laser that no matter what happened, we're going to slice through that concrete of negativity. We're going to slice through that concrete of opposition. We're going to slice through that concrete of racism. And we become a beacon and laser for humanity to see. So I tell you tonight, bask in your ingenuity. Bask in your wherewithal. Because guess what? Each and every one of us is like that collective snowflake. Different, unique, but when we come together, there's a child that can make an angel. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm going to open up the floor for questions. You know, I give God the glory. I'm a burn trauma survivor at the age of 8, growing up very poor in Richmond, Virginia, Glen Allen, Virginia. My family was so poor we didn't have indoor plumbing. And shame is something that you have to overcome. And I was so ashamed when my friends, and my nickname was Boo Boo, and they say, Boo Boo, can we use the bathroom? And I said, sure, go out about 500 yards and make sure you shut the door because the wind is blowing. Humble. And every fall, our family would get together at my grandmother's house and rake up leaves and burn the leaves. And by me being a small 8-year-old boy, the leaves surpassed my height. And there was a flicker of fire on the leaves. And my uncle did not see me on the other side of those leaves. And he threw gasoline on the pile of the leaves, and there was an explosion. And the only thing I could say, Lord, have mercy. And I could literally see the fire in the flesh of my legs come off completely. After 7 surgeries, skin grafts, like Forrest Gump, run, Forrest. I had braces on my legs. Kids called me retarded because I had to ride in the short bus. They didn't know that the short bus had a lot of room in the front. And I had a teacher, and on top of that, I stuttered real bad. Believe it or not, you can't shut me up now, but I stuttered real bad for sure. But I had a teacher. She did that index card, and she said, Bobby, I want you to read everything out loud to build your confidence. And I did that. And as you fast forward, not only that I was able to walk again and take that first step, the braces came off. I made an affirmation at the age of 8 that I will walk again. I never said, why God, why this, why that? Even I had relatives that say, well, that's how life goes. No. And when I started to walk, suddenly I started to run. And by the time I graduated from high school, I earned a track scholarship as a long-distance runner. Yeah. The first one in my family to attend college. You remember what I told you about people? And I'm sorry, tears coming in my eyes. People are so quick to say negative things to people. And their only way out is to bring up your color, your culture, or how you are, maybe be a different zip code than them. But when you start to believe that a better day is going to come, it's going to come. And when you do that, can't nothing stop you. So as you leave this conference, I hope the words that I said to you inspire you, motivated you to get your crayon box together. Get your alphabet people together. And you foster goodwill when you leave this place to make a change. And when you do, you'll be surprised of the end results. I love all of you. I haven't met you. But I know the struggle. I know the struggle. But you stand strong. You stand strong. You have that loving tenacity and you will never, never be defeated. Questions on the floor. Yes, ma'am. Oh, God bless you. Yes. Any other questions? Okay. No other questions? The floor is open, or y'all just in shock to just hear so much positive stuff? Give yourself, listen, right now, I know, we're coming out of COVID. I know we're coming out of this thing. It's been a rough 2020. But I want us right now, if you can do it, and if you're able, for 30 seconds, I just want you don't have to yell out. I understand that. I want you to just start clapping for 30 seconds. Can you do that? And I'm going to show you the value of being a collective force. Okay? So what I'm going to do, 1, 2, 3, clap, 30 seconds. Come on. Clap. Clap because your dreams are going to come. Clap. A better day is going to come. Clap that you're more than conquerors. Clap. You already got the victory. Clap. You're undefeated. Clap if you're able to get on your feet right now. Clap. Clap. And you know what? When you clap, in ancient history, when the king did this, the servants came. When you don't know it, for 30 seconds, when you did this, change started to come in your life. When you did this, transformation started to come in your life. When you did this, opportunities, gifts you never imagined starting to come in your life because you did this. And if you want to be great, serve. So with that said, God bless all of you. Thank you very much, Family Cafe. Y'all are beautiful. Y'all are amazing. Oh, we're going to take it to a whole new level. Amen. Amen. I got to go. I got to use the bathroom. See y'all later.